We're live on a Monday.
First of
Yes.
all, I love that intro. That's first of
Oh,
all.
thank
Let's
you.
address that.
We need a little something, like
Let's
we're on
address that
Restream
first and
and
foremost.
on all of our platforms, and so we need something super, super cute. I know we're a little tired for the party today, but that's okay because it's Monday, and today's about rest. And we want to be validating everyone's experiences today. And I would say, those that don't know, Regina, right here, we have from Broker Brown Egg, is a powerhouse of love. And she took some rest this year that we were all like, thank you. Thank you for doing what you needed to do. And we love it because we're all about to take rest this next month. Our whole team is going to be taking vacations and resting and stepping away from the computer and just being like, I need to like play with my kids and like nap and color and be everywhere else. And so I thought this was perfect as we were all jumping into the summer to have this chat about why resting is so important, what it means for us, and our experiences.
I'm so excited about this topic.
You tell me how you feel about this.
I'm
When
so
you realized
excited.
you take a break, was it like an epiphany?
You know what? The truth is, my mental health was suffering so bad, and I had been trying to hold everything together, and I had gone and I had bought me some crystals, and I had tried to meditate, and the disconnect was I was trying all of the tools, but I was ignoring the gas. I was ignoring the fuel for it. And so I was doing all of these things, and then one day I was just like, I can't, I'm scared. I can't breathe. I'm tired and I'm anxious and I'm frustrated, and I could not calm myself down. And it was to the point where I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't talk on the phone. I just couldn't. It was like sensory overload. There was everything was coming at me. It was emails. And for the Broken Brown Egg, I've taught myself to do all of it. I'm a one-woman show for the most part. And I was doing the website, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the everything. And I got to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I was just like, I can't go to this job and do these things and still be here. And I'm going to wear myself out. And it was also, I was isolated, and I hadn't realized it because my commute, we moved in the last year. So my commute to work went from a 10-minute commute to an hour and 15-minute commute. And I was in the car by myself. And then at the library where I worked, teens didn't really return after the pandemic. They were like, I'm not finna sit in this building and have to wear this mask, and I'm not doing all of that. So I had an office inside the teen space of the library that I was sitting in by myself for 8 hours.
Man.
And then sometimes being pulled from that to, as a manager, if there was something happening in the library, people think libraries are calm and quiet. No, no, no.
No.
And we also are the places where those who are unhoused go. We are the places where people who are experiencing mental illness go. So I would go from being in this room, in this quiet, isolated space, to, Miss Regina, we need you to come out because so-and-so is yelling at the staff and throwing chairs. And I'd have to go from this very quiet, isolated thing to all of a sudden this chaotic moment. And all of that just started to wear on me and wear on me and wear on me. And also, Broken Brown Egg it's a caregiving organization. So you're listening to people's story all the time and listening to their hurt and trying to help and wanting to. And after a while, I was just like, I like to tell people the Lord was like, I need you to sit down. And since you clearly
Here's a nice
sit
chair.
yourself down.
Sit in it.
Since you clearly not gonna sit yourself down, I'm gonna sit you down. And I went to a place of just, I would get up in the morning, go downstairs, get some water, and just write in my journal. And then I would lay on the couch. And
Yeah.
everybody was kind of worried because in my house, because they're used to me just getting up, I hop up, I start doing, and I had to just stop and be okay with stopping and not look at it like I'm letting everybody down. I'm not posting enough. I'm not keeping up with the algorithm. Don't nobody care about that algorithm.
And the algorithm don't care about us back.
Listen, it don't
Shows
love
us
us.
no look.
It don't love us back
No.
at all. And so I had to get okay with being like, okay, I'm not doing phones right now. And then I had
Yeah.
to figure out what was my workaround. So instead of trying to answer 85 emails, it became, hey, can you all help me answer these emails because I can't go through them right now? And it became, instead of I'm going to, talk on the phone with everybody or I'm going to all these places, it was literally I had a sleepover with my sister and my niece. And we watched Puss in Boots on Netflix. We watched cartoons. Uh,
Yes.
or me and Judah watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from the beginning and just kept watching
No.
to the point that he can sing the theme song now.
Oh yes.
That's good parenting.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
but just finding what made me happy and what made me calm and what made me feel at peace. I
Yeah.
read books. I hadn't had a chance to as a librarian. Once again, a misconception is that we get to read all the time. False. So I hadn't read a book in so long, and I read like 8 books because it was just I turned off the rest of the noise.
Yeah.
And then I also found a new therapist because I had been kind of I can handle it. And then I'll just go when I need maintenance, as opposed to having a fully grown relationship with a therapist. And one day I just sat at my desk and literally called every single office near me to just get somebody on the phone. And
Yeah.
finally, after like the 6th person, somebody answered. And I was just like, I was in tears. I was like, thank you so much for just answering the phone. And she was like, of course. And I was like, you don't understand. Number one, you're a Black woman. Number two, you close to my house. And number three, you answered the phone. You don't even understand how much of a boss you just became in my world.
Yeah.
Um, and that helped me to feel like I was allowed to take a break for myself and I was allowed to kind of get my head on straight and that I matter enough that me taking a break wasn't going to remove me from people's consciousness. And I think that's the big thing that we struggle with is that if I'm not everything to everybody, who am I? And is everybody going to even forget I'm here or choose somebody else to do this thing because I'm not available? And no, you matter enough that you can go take a nap. And people
Yes.
who love you will still be there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, 1,000 times. I mean, I'll tell you, when we saw your channels go dark, we're like, she's doing something and she needs space. And then when you were like, hey, here's what's going on, we're like, oh, thank you. Woo! We were right. She's good. She was handling her life and taking care of whatever happened. And we're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I legitimate was talking to Meg, and we're both just like, oh my gosh, okay, she is doing great. We're like, we're so glad because the opposite of that is someone who just keeps going,
Mm-hmm.
and then 6 months later they're like, I can't do anything. Like
Yeah,
I'm closing up everything, and we're just done. Like,
completely
and I
burnt
know
out.
that I've been that person where burnout hit me so hard that like here I am at like, a year and a half, 2 years past that moment. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was dangerous. Like I was
Yeah,
playing with fire.
like
Like legit
literally,
fire.
literally
So yeah.
dangerous.
I think like
Literally.
also too, like everything you said about, watching shows, reading books, like you're just nourishing yourself.
Yeah, it's food. It's
Yes.
food. And you don't realize that you're hungry because
Yeah.
what we do in this day and age is we tend to snack and we snack on likes on social media, and we snack on quick little chats with a friend through text, and we snack on just quick little fulfilling things. I'm going to watch this quick movie and then I'm going to go back to work. And that's not healthy food. Healthy food
No.
is I'm going to sit here, and if I want to watch every Marvel movie in existence this week, that's what I'm going to do. That's okay to do. We cannot run ourselves into the ground and then expect for the world or the universe to be like, you know what? You've been working really hard. Let me get it. Don't work like that.
No.
It don't work like that. You the
I
boss
mean,
of you. You got to take your sick days.
it would be nice for you to be like, oh, here's a trip to Italy for your hard
Yeah,
work of
for your
always
hard
making sure
work.
everyone was stressed every week this week with and their homework done and your work's done.
Yeah,
Here you
look at
go. Like,
you.
no.
Washed your laundry and put it away. Let's give you
In the
$10,000.
same day.
Not gonna happen. It's
I don't
not
know
gonna
about
happen.
you. My house works on international shipping times.
Listen,
Okay.
things happen when
Like,
they happen.
mm-hmm.
And even if it say packages en route, it might not be.
Yeah. You get
It
lost
might
along
not
the
be.
way. I mean, yeah, it's just so important. I think too, and like all of us as those of us that are like mothers and parents, it adds that other layer too, because we're trying to be like, hey, I've got it all together. Like
Yep.
I'm taking care of you and the family. Look at what I'm doing. And it's like, oh man, like I'm tired.
I'm
And to tell
tired.
them like, hey, you know what? I'm just resting right now.
And it's
It's
good
like,
modeling. It's good modeling
yes.
for them. It's really good
Yeah.
modeling for them. That it's okay to sit down and it's okay to just watch something funny with no reason to it. It's not, I have to do this because this. It's just, I just like it.
Yeah.
I just like
You
it.
don't have to fold laundry while you're watching a show.
No, you do
You
not.
know?
You are not a machine. You're not a
Yes.
machine.
And I think that enjoyment portion is so important with the rest. Like we always get this like self-care. You have to get self-care. And I'm like, to me, I almost feel like self-care now is becoming like a curse word.
It's another chore. Now I got to fit in
Yes.
self-care. Now I got to have my finances together. I got to have a side hustle. I got to go to my real job. I got to go back to the house. I got to fold the laundry. Oh, and don't forget, I need a bubble bath for the self-care thing. And let me call my friends so that the next time they vague book that watch who was checking on you when you I got to be checking on everybody else, even if they're not checking on me. Now this is another chore. I'm not doing all of that.
No. No.
I'm just not. I'm really not. And I feel bad sometimes. And I know my family hears me say it more than the outside world hears me say it until right now, I guess. But I do feel bad that I'm not a phone person. I do feel bad that I don't check on people as much as I feel like I could. I won't say should. I I do struggle with that feeling like, man, I hope they don't think I don't care, and I hope they know I think of them, and da 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 da. But also, my first friend is me. She was with me in the womb. She was with me in kindergarten. She was with me through
Yep.
everything. And so my first friend is her. And if I don't give Regina what she needs, you shouldn't even trust me as a friend, because if I can't do for me, I really ain't going to do it for you. So I've
Yes.
had to get good about saying, I, I, I feel those feelings and I acknowledge it, and I do appreciate the fact that if I was a bad person, I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't have even said it. So give yourself some credit for at least thinking that way and recognize you're not a bad person. You are choosing yourself, and that's okay. And when people need you, they know where to find you. And if you notice that they really need you, you'll step up. You're not a bad person,
Yeah.
but it's hard to get that in your head,
Yeah.
especially um, people of color who are c- conditioned to have a like a mentality of it's not service but just hospitality. it
Yes.
that keeps us safe. That's our
You
armor
gotta
in many
show up all
ways.
the time.
Yeah, you got to
You
show
gotta
up
show
and
up.
be kind and
Mm-hmm.
smile. Don't be
Yeah.
rude. Don't fit
Don't
into
be
any of their
sharing your dirty
stereotypes.
laundry. Don't
Yeah,
be
don't tell
sharing.
them all your business. Whatever's
Exactly.
at home
That's
at
for you.
home. Yeah, don't give them all of that. Show them your
Yep.
best representative at all times. Go to all the meetings. Be on time. volunteer to take the notes. Make sure that they know you're a team player. Come up
Yep.
with the great ideas that they can use without your name on them. Like all of that, all of that.
Oh my
And
God.
because we're kind of conditioned that way, it goes with us in everything. It goes
Yeah.
with us all the way around. And then we also are in this sandwich generation where we're, in many cases, taking care of those older than us and younger than us at the same time and trying to figure ourselves out.
Oh yes.
And that's exhausting too.
I am legit right in there. Like last year, I was like, no, I'm not. And then this year, my husband was like, oh my God, we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, we are like legit sandwich people now.
Full
Because,
on
and
sandwich. Yeah.
things change. And I think too, the cultural aspect makes this so challenging sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say you and I both are now in that space where like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that.
I'm just not.
I'm not. I don't have,
And
and I
I'm
had to
sorry.
explain to someone very close to me the concept of having space for something. And I used the idea of, was like, okay, you're at the cookout, you got a plate. Okay. Your chores, 2 scoops. Your work is a whole scoop of food. Your personal trauma, that's 2 slices,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 slices. Where else are you gonna put everything else? Your plate's full.
Yeah. There's no
And then
more.
you try to carry it, people coming up and hugging you and kissing you, and you're like, I'm trying to not spill this food. I
You
gotta
ain't got no
sit
foil.
down. Yeah, you're like, and they're like, oh, actually, can you make me a plate too?
Yeah.
And can you go ahead and take care of them? And you're like, you're juggling.
And
And they're
bring me
like,
a
I just
pop.
don't get it. Yeah.
And bring me a ginger ale.
Oh yeah, you got napkins? It's like, I don't. Who made the potato salad? Who made
Yeah.
this? You're like, I'm trying my best right now, okay? But you're carrying so much and trying to say like, okay, now where's the space for them to come and tell me what's going on in their life, so
Yep.
I can hold it. I'm like,
So I can hold that for them and let me monitor what I share with them because I don't want to trigger them or
yep,
put too much of my stuff on them. Or if I tell them something that it's hard for me and then it makes them feel bad for me, now instead of me caring for myself, now I got to be like, no, it's okay. Don't be upset. Now I'm caring for you about caring for me, about caring for you, about caring for me.
and neither of us got what we needed.
No,
No one got the validation. No one's
no.
comfortable and relaxed and like, oh, I can breathe.
Yeah.
So it's like this. It's so important to know like what we can't take
What
on.
we can't do, what we
Yeah,
cannot do. And we have to get to that place as a culture because we are in a state of overwork in all formats. And
yeah,
it's this feeling of it's I think of it like empty accomplishment. There's so many things that we want to accomplish that have been set as like this rubric. You need to have this and you need to have this and you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to be in the gym and you need to eat healthy. So you need to meal prep and then you need to be budgeting so that you can get the food to meal prep. And it's so many
yeah,
things. But if you even accomplish all of that now, you don't feel better. You just feel like, oh, I checked all the boxes. And
yep,
so we'll have a generation of people that are just checking boxes, but not actually living their lives because they haven't chosen any of this for themselves. They're doing it because this is what the manual says I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not doing that. I'm iRobot. I'm rogue. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do any of that. When it gets overwhelming and I start to think, oh, I should be doing blah 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 blah. At that point, I'm gonna be like, let me go watch Golden Girls because
yeah,
I'm conditioning, and I'm not gonna do that.
yeah.
Yesterday, I had a lot of work to do. I had a lot of work to do, and instead, I sat outside on the backyard with my friends and had wine and
Ooh,
laughed and stayed up till like 2 in the morning. And I
nice.
thought, man, I should have handled that business. And then I thought that business will still be there, and I had a good time. I take
Yeah,
that. I'll take that win because people
and
my age are dying of strokes and heart attacks, and I don't want that for me.
no,
I don't want that for
no.
me. These people now finna worry the snot out of me, as my mom would say.
Yeah,
And
I think too,
not
like
finna worry
that
me.
pandemic just it put us in so much perspective to like sit back and look at how we're living and look at where we're spending our time. the initial like, oh, it's gonna be 2 weeks of just like hanging out at home. And now we're sitting, 2.5 years in, and we're like, whoa. Like I'll admit, like my whole lifestyle has changed. And when we're trying to like, oh, we're gonna go back doing things, I'm like, I'm not going back to
I'm
that.
not going. That wasn't working for me in the first place. Why would I go back to
No.
that?
And it's
Why would
like
I go to that restaurant again? That
exactly,
food
like
was
I
nasty.
value the little things, like being able to just go on my back porch with the kids and splash in the little pool. And like how refreshing that could be at the end of the day, instead of being like, oh no, you have to go here, everyone has to be dressed cute, you have to stay till they close, you have to make sure you attend all the events, you can't say no to an event because you've known them forever. It's like, no, you have the
No,
permission
I'm not
to
coming
say,
to
I'm
that.
not going to that event, I'm choosing to do this with just one person.
Yep.
Or
No
I'll
people.
go, but I'm going to go on my terms.
I'll be there and then I'm leaving. I'm
Yes,
stopping by to drop.
okay.
I know some people hated it, and I understand everybody's situation is different. And so there were a lot of different things that made the quarantines and all of that difficult for
Yeah.
various reasons. But the things that came out of it for me that I actually appreciate were like the drive-by birthday party. Man, you mean I ain't got to come in and speak to everybody? I can do the hump and wave and keep it moving. Why weren't we doing this the whole
And
time?
then they hand you something from the window. They're
What?
like, oh, here's a treat bag. Enjoy
Here's
it when you get home.
$20.
And you're like, thank you.
I'm so glad I could be part of your parade. The putting the signs in the yard and just waving and all of that. That feels more special to me than birthday party. It's like your own personal promenade. And I'm with that.
Yes.
Those kind of
Yeah.
things, I was like, oh yeah, that
We
like
did
I
a
can
couple
do this.
graduations like that, and a couple like going away parties. One person had a just because treat drive. They
Oh,
had made different things, like just because it starts from like 5 to 7 p.m. Just drive through and we'll hand you like cookies or donuts we made or cakes. And we're like, okay. Fresh yogurt with the fruit. And my kids are like, when are we going to the treat drive? This
right.
sounds great. I'm like, this is nice.
It's
You know?
important to be able to find the little nuggets that were like, you know what, everything sucked, but that was cool.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
sucked, but that was cool. I was with that. The work from home, the ability to set my schedule throughout my day and to
Oh
be
yeah.
able to move. What I heard a lot from other librarians is that when they went back into the building, they noticed that their back was hurting and they couldn't
Oh.
figure it out until they realized, oh, when I was at home, I could get up, walk around, go for a walk around the block, drink some water, come back, finish what I was working on. But now I'm expected to sit stationary at this one spot all day, and my body is rebelling against it and like, wait a minute, we were having a good time, what you doing? And I was dealing with the same thing, and so I would try to walk around the library a little bit, get myself, and then I was like, this ain't, no, I would just rather be at home.
Yeah.
I can come in here
Yeah.
for certain things, but also you can't tell me that I can't do this from home because I just saw me do it.
Yeah. I've been doing it.
I
I was
just saw
texting. I
me
was like,
do
oh, we
it.
need y'all in the office. I'm like, to do what? So you can
Mm-mm.
smell me? Like
Yeah,
you can always
no.
see me online. Like why you
Why
need to
would I
see
come?
me there?
Why would I come there? That sounds
Although I
crazy.
will say, people Mia, that'd be impossible because I'm in Texas and they're in Toronto. We got Vickiana in Brooklyn. We got folks in Europe. Like it would never
Yeah,
work.
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
So I do want to ask you what was it like realizing you needed to like change jobs, like move locations in your period of rest?
That was hard, but I think if I hadn't been in that resting space, I wouldn't have recognized it because I
Okay.
would have just kept drilling into. So, for background, I've been a librarian for almost 15 years and I've been a teen librarian for 11. And I was at that same library all 11 and literally got that job the week after I graduated with my library degree. So I'd been there through renovating the teen space, through building a teen department, building the collection. I had won Young Adult Librarian of the Year for the state. I had really
Whoa.
established a good rapport, and I loved all the kids, and the kids that would even, I've got ones that are like grown and married now, and they would come back to visit me. And so the idea of ever not being there was messing with me. I was like, but I need to be here so that when their kids come here, I'm still here. Um, and in this past, in that moment of rest, I was able to really grieve the loss of my kids from the pandemic because we had done a renovation and I lost half the kids then. And then COVID hit and I lost the other half. And the ones that were coming back weren't really coming to do activities with me anymore. They were coming just to check on me, which is sweet. But they'd be like, "Hey, Miss Regina, we just came to see if you're okay. You good? All right, bye." And I'd be like, "Wait, no, come back, stay
Let's
with
stop
me.
for a
Let's
moment.
do things." Um, but I was content with, this is the salary that we need in my household. This is the only way that I can see us moving forward with the frozen embryo transfer. This is what sustains us and our rent. This is what keeps us where we need to be and moving towards buying a house. And I just had assumed or decided this is what I must do. And when I went on that break, I realized that there's a whole lot of sugar honey iced tea that I don't must do. The things
Exactly.
that I don't do, somebody else will do. And it just so happened that a library position opened closer to where we moved. Um, I had relationships with some of the librarians there already, and that commute was 15 minutes from my house. And I was like,
Yes.
I think I should at least investigate it. And my husband was like, "You see this job?" And it was a pay cut and it wasn't working with teens anymore. It was just children's librarian, which is okay. But again, I'd had so long in that role and
Yeah.
I struggled with it for a minute. And then I think I was so exhausted emotionally that I was like, I'm just going to send these people this resume and see what happens. And my mental health, I was still fighting through it. And that's what I want to also say is, don't give yourself a hard time if you find that you're still struggling while you're trying to figure out how to do this. Because true story, to go to that interview, my anxiety was so high that Jahbari had to drive me to the interview because I couldn't drive. My anxiety was just raking me over the coals. But when I walked in there, they didn't know that.
Love it.
And I was able to turn it on. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I got to go back home, put on my pajamas, get back on the couch. But for that minute, I was like, we're going to do what we got to do because we
Hmm.
need a change. And
Yeah.
sometimes rest gives you the breathing room to recognize that was not working for me. Very similar to what we were just saying about the pandemic. For a
Yeah.
lot of people, the quarantine was a moment for them to say, well, I can't work and distract myself from the fact that I don't want to be married to you no more. Or I
Yeah.
can't work and distract myself. I don't like living here. I can't work and distract myself from the fact that I don't even like this job. That forced rest sometimes gives you a minute to be like,
Yeah.
I don't even like this. Why am I doing this every day? Why am I
Yes.
doing this every day? If it's not enjoyable, or I don't, if I got this job, I can get another job. Like just those kind of thoughts hadn't even been allowed to come in my head. But because I had cut out everything else, I could hear that more clearly. I could hear those thoughts of possibility. And I was off the hamster wheel enough to be like, you know what? That's a pay cut, but I'd make it up in the gas money that I'm not spending
For
with, with
real.
without knowing that gas was going to be $3 million. But
Yeah.
even still, that
Yeah.
idea of thinking outside the box, my creativity had been stunted because I was burnt out, and I didn't realize that. And so changing jobs was scary, but that rest helped tell me change was needed and that I could live through change. You'll be all
Yes.
right if you switch. You'll be okay if you switch gears. And God or the universe or whatever people believe in. For me, I'm a woman of faith. So for me, I felt like while I'm in this space, God can speak to me more clearly and he can tell me what it is that I need to do, or at least just hang out with me, because I've been isolated and I've been blocking out everybody at the same time. Because you get isolated and you start getting comfortable there. Like, well, I've been by myself. Please don't call me. I don't feel like talking to nobody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that rest was an opportunity for me to kind of listen and be in tune with my spirit and journal about my thoughts. And from there, it was like, you could apply for another job and see what happens. Who's to say
Yeah.
that that isn't what you're supposed to be doing? Who's to say? And so that was a way for me to change gears in a way that I can put more focus on the broken brown egg, actually. And I hadn't been able to look at it that way, because I thought I need this job because this pays for, the broken brown egg. I do it just off the strength, so I don't get paid for it or anything.
Yeah.
So the web hosting, all of that stuff, that's me. And I was like, I have to keep this job because this pays for what I'm doing. But I didn't realize sustaining it is very different from letting it thrive. And I was holding on to one thing so tightly that I wasn't able to see the other things that I could pick up. And so while it was wonderful to be in this position as this librarian that everybody knew was going to be there forever, and the teens knew they could come back and see me whenever, um, there was so much of my creativity that was stunted that I couldn't give the broken brown egg some of that creativity, because I was a manager and I was the lead programmer and the one that was ordering the books and doing the time cards and whereas now I do a story time on Thursdays
Ooh,
and a
nice.
Lego party on Wednesdays. And when it's time to go home, I go home.
Bye.
I'll be like, okay, see you guys. Thanks
And
for
that's
thanks for
nice.
reading with me today. Yeah.
Like I think too, and this is like one more thing, like we're told like you have to take all the promotions. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go
Yes.
introduce yourself something else because it means you're thinking little of yourself. It's like, no,
Yep.
I know what I can do, but I know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I'm happily tell like I'll tell Bianca, like, Bianca, I don't want to do this right now. I can't. And she'll like, okay, fine. And we'll like pivot to do
Yeah.
something else. Because like knowing what you want to do and then knowing what you're able, like, could you be a
Yes.
manager right now? You totally probably could.
Totally
And
could.
slay at that. No, probably like the best. But is it the best thing for us right now? No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No.
And you wear yourself out trying to reach some level of accomplishment that don't really, it just don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Like I was telling even a couple of my teens before I left that library, and they were stressing about college and a few things, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. In my adult life, I can name maybe one time where anybody's ever asked me my GPA. Don't nobody care about that. Do your absolute best, get through with school because it shows that you have follow through, and then do what you're passionate about. And no other adult may tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you this. Don't nobody care about your GPA, and they really gonna look at you pretentious if you be like, and I graduated summa cum laude. They don't really care. They want to know, can you do your job well? Do you have follow through? Are you a kind person? All this other stuff is important because it helps train you, but do not let it make you so anxious. Because the district that I was in, the high schools had lost at least 4 or 5 students to suicide in the past 4 years. And so when you look at the stress that young people are under and the fact that they sleep the least out of every demographic, um, they're exhausted and anxious and frustrated, and they're figuring out their bodies. I consider them big toddlers. So they're figuring out their bodies and all of that. And that leads to depression and anxiety. And I think also with working in this field with in terms of reproductive health and justice, you have so many people on both sides, those of us who are the fighters for those who need help and reproductive assistance and allies, and we're wearing ourselves out trying to make sure that we're everything to everybody and being where they need us to be. And then on the other side, those who are trying to, if they're dealing with fertility issues, that's a full-time job plus your regular job plus trying to maintain a partnership if you have one. And even if it's you're dealing with endometriosis or fibroids or any of these other reproductive health issues, it is physically exhausting and taxing. And so you're not getting enough rest on either front. And it actually makes your health worse. And so I've really tried to be an example of just like, it's okay to be like, I'm not going to that. I'm not doing that. If I get a B, it's okay. If I get a pass for pass fail, that's fine. If I, don't come and they mad, they can as they can be mad, they can stay mad, they can put a cape on and be super mad. I'm still not gonna do it.
I love that.
Like it's okay to just be like,
Oh my
no, I
gosh.
chose me.
Yeah.
And I tell people, if you want a good example of that, watch toddlers, toddlers and teenagers. Watch them. If you ask a toddler to do something, it could be your toddler, it could be niece, nephew, guy, kid, whatever. If you ask them to do something and they don't want to do it, their initial answer to you will be no. And they'll continue playing like they're not even, they're like, what's the problem? I don't understand what you're upset about. Teenagers too, they'll be like, I don't want to do that. What? Why? Because I don't want to. And then they go on about their life. We're the ones that be like, I can't say no because if I say no, they're going to feel this and they're going to think that. And I'm going to do this and they're going to lose it. Teens and toddlers tell you exactly what they need
Yes.
in the way that they can best tell you. Either
Yeah.
straight and direct and it's straight like that, or it's going to come out as a tantrum and you're going to recognize they tired. I need to leave them alone. Both
You
teens and
might need a
toddlers.
nap and a snack.
Yeah. You're not you when you're hungry.
Here's a Snickers. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it's so important to just acknowledge that. Like, and
Yeah.
I'll say, like, as birth workers or anyone in the fertility space, in the birth space, parenting space, man, if we don't recognize our limitations and be like, I need to not take a client next month because I need to just take care of other things, other business stuff, rest, sleep, repair myself, repair my own relationships. That's important. Like I'm
Yeah.
always telling folks, like, burnout happens in the first 2 to 3 years, but if it doesn't mean it's not going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It
like
just means you
it can
dodged it at the
happen.
beginning.
Yeah, it can sneak up on you and be like, "Hey, did you know you're exhausted?" You're like, "Oh my god, I am."
And it looks different than we think. If you're
Yes.
snappier at people, if you're more emotional, if you are anxious, like I said, mine was a form of anxiety. And I was just like, why am I so anxious? And it was really just go to bed, girl. You trying to solve the world's problems, go take a nap. And I think when we don't see it manifest the way that we are conditioned to think it will, we don't
Yeah.
think, well, I'm not tired. I'm sick of people not doing what I tell them to do. No, you're tired. And that's why people not doing what you told them to do is aggravating you so much. I'm not tired. I'm really frustrated. No, you're frustrated because you're trying to run on empty. And so you can't think outside the box. And so trying to do things your normal way is frustrating you. So we're not always sure that that's what it is, but that's what it is. If you're
Yeah.
snapping at your kids, if you're mean to your coworkers, if you sick of your mama calling you tired and sometimes lonely.
Yes.
If you're handling everything for everybody, that's lonely. And it could be not that you miss people, you might miss you. You haven't had any time to sit with yourself, to just enjoy what you enjoy. I had a point where um, my therapist asked me, like, well, what do you like to do? And I was like, what you mean?
You're like,
what you what you and I realized even the things that I enjoy doing, I had turned into a way to serve others once again. So like even playing my PlayStation, because I love first person shooters. So I play Red Dead Redemption. And my brother and I would get on and play together, and we have our little Western posse and we'd be riding horses and all this. And instead of just enjoying that, we were like, we should get a Twitch channel and we should let other people see us do it. And now you've made even what you enjoy another job. Now you've made that something else. And so I had to remind myself, like, it's okay to just like sitting with you. Sometimes when you're so lonely, it's because you miss yourself. You've been everything that everybody else wants you to be. You didn't do anything for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're conditioned to think that if you do, you're being selfish.
Yes.
Well, who else supposed to think about me if I don't think?
Right?
And how will I even know how to take care of you if I don't know how to take care of me? Then I'm lacking some social skills that will assist in my empathy and compassion, because I haven't recognized what those things are. And sometimes you need to see it so you can be it. You got to do it for yourself, and not feel like all of these things equate to your worth. I got to do all these things, and if I can just be worth something, then I can rest.
Yeah.
I'm already worth something. If I sit here in my pajamas, I'm worth something.
Oh yeah.
It was hard to get that in my head, but I'm grateful for that time, because it has helped me to be much more of an advocate for that for others, and telling them, you can take a nap. We'll be here when you get back.
Yeah.
Every
'Cause
nap you resisted in kindergarten, go get it. Go get your reparations. Go ahead.
I know. When you're like, I am not going to sleep because Tommy took my book.
Yeah. And
I'm
now
like,
you look
girl,
back and you
take
be
a
like,
nap,
dang, you
please.
should have took a nap, fool.
I always love to think about it when, as parents, and little ones come up to us and be like, why are you grumpy? I'm like, oh, because they see us
Uh-huh.
grumpy. They're going to
Yep.
tell, there's no filter. They've not learned that
Nope.
like social cue filter of like, hey, are you sure you're okay? They go, you acting grumpy.
Yeah. You need a
I'm
nap.
like, yeah, you need a nap. I'm like, oh, they're right. I am grumpy. I
Mm-hmm.
do need a nap.
And I am
And
no
that nap
respecter
not
of person.
taking,
I will tell my mom, you need a nap. Okay,
yeah,
man, you need to
that
go lay
that
down
nap's not
somewhere.
taken away from us. If we're so used to be like, if I sleep, I'm gonna miss out on this time period and
Mm-hmm.
those 6 things. Oh, and now I've got 5 more emails. Now my email box is sitting at 70 emails.
Mm-hmm.
And these 5 things were due, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I got to
like,
send 3. I'm so sorry I missed your emails.
yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about it is for me, even when I'm not burned out, I'm like my ADHD, I'm like, I forgot you
I
existed.
forgot.
Sorry. I'm like, oh, we're related. I forgot we were related.
I forgot all
I
about
forgot.
that.
And people are like, what does that even mean? I'm like, if you don't understand what that means, I can't explain it to you because I forgot how to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. Okay.
My attention went elsewhere, and I apologize. And you
Yeah.
just gonna have to get over it, because there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I
Have you
can
ever
do
watched
about
this
it now.
Daisy Confused? That's my whole life.
I think, though, it's important to remind ourselves that it's okay to laugh at those things about us.
Oh yeah.
It's okay to laugh at us. And what's crazy when you think about it, when I think about growing up, if I missed a TV show, I missed it until Sweeps Week when they replayed it.
Yes.
If I missed a phone call, I missed it because I didn't have an answer machine, or I didn't have voicemail or caller ID and all of those things. And so it's crazy that now that you can literally go watch something whenever you feel like it, and
From any time
literally
period.
from any time period, you can literally turn on your phone and say, oh, so-and-so called me at 2 p.m. And here's a voicemail to listen to hear what they wanted. Or they can text you. It's crazy that now that you have access, you feel more rushed than you did then, when if you missed it, you missed it. And I think it's, once again, that conditioning. It's like Pavlov's dog. Now you're like, oh no, what did I miss? Oh no, what did I miss? Oh no. And I'm to the point where I've recognized I don't care what I missed. If it's that important, my mama gonna call me and tell me.
Yeah.
If it's that
Or,
important, your best friend is gonna make sure that you find out. If it's that important, you're gonna hear about it when you get to work. Nothing is so important that you cannot disconnect for 5 minutes. You can't think in pieces anyway. So you might as well take some time and work on yourself. That was the other thing that I did. So during my time of rest, I journaled, I crocheted a blanket for myself.
nice.
I colored. Tell y'all, get y'all some good color pencils and gel pens, and some grown up coloring books. There's a one I have called Cheer the F Up that I got from Amazon. It's
I
hilarious.
love that.
And then I did puzzles. me and my cousins and my aunt, we would swap puzzles that we found and just sit at the dining room table with a glass of wine and do a puzzle. Maybe put a couple pieces, walk away from it, come back, do another. I have stickers that I do with my planner. Those are all fun. I enjoy doing that.
Mine's sitting here with all my stickers
Don't
on
get me
it.
started, Michelle. Don't get me
Girl!
started.
Like,
Let me see. Let me
I
see.
like
Let me
had a
see.
whole thing. I love me some stickers.
I love some stickers. I don't even know if y'all can see it without me turning off my my background thing, but
I see it.
I'll show
I
you some
can see
pictures.
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. Look at
Yes.
Wild Child this week.
Same.
Yes.
Stickers everywhere.
Yes.
That
I
was my
love it.
fun thing for myself was what do I like for me? What do I like for
Yes.
me? Because I was frustrated that I couldn't answer that question when my therapist asked me, what do you do for you? And I was like, oh, girl. And it dawned on me, I don't do anything that's just purely just because I feel like it. So I know I know my husband be looking at me when I be ordering these stickers and he'd be like, why is she? But I enjoy it and let me have it. And I take my Thursday night and set up my planner for the next week. And that's fun. I sit and watch Star Trek, whichever one it is. I pull out my planner and my stickers and my gel pens and my markers. And that's the things I enjoyed when I was little. I had paper dolls and stickers and markers. So why can't I have that as an adult? And why can't they look super fly?
Exactly. Why can't they be super
Why
cool?
can't they be super cool stickers as an adult? So I enjoyed those things and finding
Yeah.
those things. I learned a new card game with my niece and my sister. Like I said, we had a little mini slumber party. My mom had went out of town. And so they were staying at her house, kind of house sitting. And I was like, well, I'm going to come over there and sit with you guys. And we ended up not even watching anything on the TV. We literally sat there playing cards until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I went and slept in my mom's bed and just could smell my mom. And that was like my peace. That
That
was my
sounds so
peace.
wonderful
It
to
was
just,
so precious.
oh my gosh. I
It
love
was
it.
so precious.
I
That
love
gave
it.
me the fuel to be able to come back and say, all right, guys, I'm back. Here's what was going on. I'll never leave you guys. I feel so strongly about the fertility and reproductive health community that I would not completely disappear without a reason, and I would not completely disappear, period, because I feel like the broken brown egg is bigger than me now. And I wanted everybody to know, number one, that I was still around, but also that it's okay to rest. And here's what I was doing, and here's why. And then I also took that time to learn to delegate some things. So I hired my sister to help me sort through those emails. I asked my husband to help me out a little bit more on the business end and making sure that things were all lined up and that I wasn't having to do all of the everything all of the time. I got moderators for our support groups so that I'm not the only one admitting people and answering questions and this, that, and the other. And I've been trying to be consistent with that of
Yeah.
if someone asks, can they help, even if I don't know what to have them do, I can at least say, well, what do you want to do? How do you want to help? And not try to do everything by myself because it doesn't prove
Yeah.
my worth to be doing everything myself. And I'm blocking somebody else's opportunity. They might learn something amazing, or the broken brown egg has been so important for me, it might be something great for them if I
Yeah.
step back and give them a space, So
Yeah.
I was happy about my break.
I think your break was important. And it was a reminder to us all on our side that we needed to care for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And to see who we're always like, Regina, she is amazing. She got everything. Oh, Regina needs some space. Okay. She is human and needs to like have a refresh. So we're going to let her have that refresh. And
Mm-hmm.
that's so important to see. So I think for as a community as a whole, like we're happy that you took that time. You know,
Yeah.
we're happy that you rested and looked inward and thought about
Mm-hmm.
what little 8-year-old Regina wants to do,
Girl, because
what
she
50-year-old
would have sat here with
Regina
these
wants to do.
stickers and lost her mind. She'd have been like, stickers!
Yes.
So now 40-year-old Regina can be like, ooh, I got stickers in the mail.
I got adult money.
I got grown-up money. I can go to Michael's by myself. I can drive
Oh
myself
my
to the craft
goodness.
store. All that
Dangerous
kind of
place.
stuff. Oh, girl. And
I
then when they
know.
send me a message and they be like, you have a voucher, I'll be like, damn it. Now I got to go to Michael's.
Oh, how'd you find my email?
How did you get me? I
Oh, right.
unsubscribed.
I gave it to you.
Or they'll send
Oh,
one of those, here's 40% off. I'll be like, dang it. That
and it's
ain't even a
always
good
comes and you're like,
discount.
what am I going to do today? Ooh, 40% off.
Yeah. Eat
Maybe I will go
food.
that direction for groceries.
Yeah, exactly. Eat food or go, buy some clay to play with. I don't know. But that's another one. Go to your happy places. Even if I don't buy anything, I can walk around Home Goods any day and just
Oh, yeah.
dream. And just dream like, oh, one day, because these are things we did when we were younger. You could look at things and imagine before you were so smart. You would look at things and say, one day I could have that. One day I could do that. I could live in that kind of house. I could do this. As an adult, that stupid realism gets to you and you start going, no, I ain't got that. Mm-mm. And you start operating from this place of lack and exhaustion. But when you look at it as you did when you were a child, you were like, oh, I like that house. And so doing that now feels just as good. I did that during the pandemic is I would get my mask and whatever else protective measures, and I would go walk around Home Goods and just look at things and go, one day when I have an office, I'm going to get that. One day when I have my own space, I'm going to do that. One day when I'm able to do this, I'm going to buy that. And just give myself permission to dream and hope and believe. And that's a form of rest too. Give yourself some rest from always having to be so damn, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Come on.
Reality is not only is reality boring, scary, and frustrating, it's tiring. And so
Yes.
I would much rather be able to tell myself, in a perfect world, this is, and sit in that for just a few minutes. It gives you energy to go back into the reality because you're going back with some creative ideas about it. You're going back, coming out of that rest. I was able to be like, you know what, the broken brown egg could have an actual physical space one day. And you know what,
Yes.
the broken brown egg could do this and that and the other. And you know what, I could, because I wasn't so focused on, let's be realistic. All right, let's look at this realistically. All right, let's look at this with rested eyes. Let's look at this
With
with
joy.
joy. Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Helping people is supposed to be fun. It shouldn't be
Yep.
exhausting. And that includes your job, your family, whoever you find yourself serving. It should be fun and enjoyable while you're also helping other people. You shouldn't leave it feeling like you've been wrung out like a rag. You shouldn't.
I love it. Well, those are the best words we could end this live on. I could not say anything better. And I think everyone that, if you don't know, please go follow Regina on her places, the Broken Brown Egg, on Instagram, on all the platforms. She is the best, supportive in the fertility space and in the Black fertility community space. We need your voice. Like, we
Thank
need your
you.
voice. We need you to be showing us that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to do all the emotions. So if you know someone that's probably burning themselves out, share them this video because we're two adults who have lived through all kinds of things and we took important breaks. And we said
And we'll
that.
take one again if I need to.
Yes, I'm taking one next month. We talking about? I got a 4-day weekend coming up. What?
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, like it's important to take those breaks and acknowledge that we're going to be better for it. We're going to be happier and more comfortable and everything because we looked at ourselves and gave to ourselves 1st. Can't pour if your cup's empty, you know?
Listen.
Yes. So if anyone has questions, I know. If you have questions for Regina about anything fertility related or anything, you can always email me or you can email her. Thank you everybody for coming to this chat. And that will conclude this wonderful chat on rest, everybody. Have a good
Yeah.
Monday. Be easy with yourself. Wear sunscreen. Drink your water. And take care. Okay, everyone. I know. Have your water. Like, have your cup with you at all times. And it's so good to see you, Regina.
It's good to
The
see you too.
best. And anything you
Feelings
need, just
mutual.
tell me, okay?
Feelings so mutual, so mutual.
All
Enjoy the
right,
rest
darling.
of your
Well,
day, everybody.
yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.